Welcome back to Flagrant and Foul. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to review a few things. We're going to start with the new movie, The Batman. We're going to hit Snowfall and Animal Kingdom. But before we even get into Batman, I got a little clip that I want you all to see from a man who was just on Real Talk with Jay with me, comedian, podcast host, and writer, Freezes Christ. Check this out.
I like to watch superheroes by like the number of casualties like that they do not potentially cause. You see what I'm saying? So it's like so would I say Batman? Batman probably I would say Batman probably is a superhero because Batman actually does like save lives. But like when you think about it, like even like Spider-Man, like when rocks are falling below him and he's jumping to get to the bad guy and he's pushing off those rocks are still falling down on people below and shit like that. Like you gotta like nobody ever thinks about this shit. Like when they're fighting in the street and like you gotta remember niggas are still in these buildings, like and they're throwing motherfuckers into the buildings and crashing in the cars and shit like that. Like nobody ever thinks about it, but like there's a lot of murder that goes on in cartoons, like superhero cartoons that you don't pay no attention to. Like Superman probably saves what one or two bitches every so often, but for the most part, he's punching fucking Darkseid into an oncoming car. Like this nigga's driving the truck, and Superman is gonna knock the nigga into it.
That is a very different way to look at that because I don't think many people look at it that way. So you even put you turn the heroes into villains.
No, superheroes are a gang, bro. Nobody understands that. Like, think about it, niggas show up with his army. You know what I mean? Yeah, he looks to take on the world. And all right, cool. When that's when they're heroes, when they're fighting the niggas' army and shit. But like, even when you think about like when the Avengers were fighting Ultron, who was handling the people on the ground like that? You see what I'm saying? Because Ultron's army was everywhere, nigga. So it's like, okay, are they really heroes at that point in time? I don't know, but at least they're getting a quote unquote fair fight because they're like fighting with one another like all over the place, like here and there, like you know what I mean. But then where they become a gang and where it's fucked up at is like, for instance, like Thanos or like Darkseid or something like that. Like, yeah, this nigga shows up and Superman or one of these niggas will try to fight him in a one-on-one and they can't beat him. So what do? They go back and get the gang. And next thing you know, they whooping on this nigga all at one time. And so now you got a bunch of niggas with super abilities whipping on you. And then Batman don't have no super abilities. So he's throwing little sharp-ass objects at you and fucking bombs and smoke and shit. So realistically, like, you're getting fucking jumped, nigga. Like, that shit, like... It's like watching the Rodney King beating over and over and over again.
Fuck. Okay, I still don't know how to respond to the Rodney King one, so I'm just gonna leave that alone because if you heard me, I'm just like, fuck, I don't even know what to say. Freeze just had me laughing. But it's a real interesting take. So as I'm watching The Batman the other night, I'm thinking about what Freeze said, and now as Batman's doing more things, I'm like, it's not all like Batman's all about saving lives. But before we hit that, yes, everybody, we are going to review the new movie, The Batman. And I'll start by saying, Scott, that where I'm wearing it, or like looked at it differently, is so he's whipping dudes in front of bullets now in this movie. They're taking bullets for him. I'm like, okay, you're technically not the one killing them, but I don't think Batman's against murder as much as we've all thought in the past.
Yeah, he's always throwing people off of rooftops and like dropping the black guy down the fucking watchtower or the bell tower, and he just smiles, or throwing him in the sewer strapped with bombs. Some of Caesar's guys always mention that. He's always a little lenient on murder.
Yeah, I was gonna say because if even in the Dark Knight series, when he just says, "Mike, I can't kill you, but I don't have to save you," or something like that,
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what he did. That he left Liam Neeson on that fucking train.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna start by everybody who follows the comics is more in your wheelhouse. Since I've known you in 5th grade, you've drawn comics, you've been into comics. I've been less into comics, and I've heard a lot of people say if you dig the comics, you're going to like The Batman more. And if you didn't, you'll probably like it less. I thought it was a good movie, and I went into it with a bad fucking attitude towards it because I'm like, oh, great. Sparkly little bitch from Twilight's Batman. Like, yeah. I did think that. I thought he played a great Batman, but I think he was an even better Bruce Wayne than he was a Batman.
Yeah, that's Caesar hated him as Bruce Wayne. I thought he did good all around. He looks almost exactly like the cartoon Bruce Wayne when he's in the hospital.
Okay.
You know, it's like, and he grows up finally because
Yeah.
he's the fucking Alfred.
Well,
Got blown
Alfred
up.
in this one was badass, and I was really pumped to see Bernard from Westworld as Jim Gordon. I think he did a great job. I was like, because I didn't know how he would do it, because I only know dude from Westworld. So anybody who's watched Westworld, it's a whole different character, right? But I'm like, dude, it's Bernard. All right, cool. And then the way he played, I was like, he was a fucking great Jim Gordon.
Yeah. Especially for like the time of Jim Gordon's career.
Right.
He's just a detective.
And he really came off as genuine and honest, which is really hard to do as an actor, I'm sure, to come off as a feeling, right? You know what I mean? And he did. He made me feel that, like, you could trust this dude in the mix of all the corruption. And that's what I will like to say is, as corrupt as the other movies could be, the level of corruption they showed in Gotham in this one is where they got me. Because I told you before we started recording, I had a buddy, you, a couple other people, like, you got to watch this. I'm like, I'll get to it, you know? And I'm comparing it to The Dark Knight. So we're an hour in and I'm texting him like, this is boring as shit. And then all of a sudden the DA blows up, everything pops off. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Again, like I told you, I compare everything to The Dark Knight, which is probably not fair to the new Batman franchise.
True. So you really like the nightclub and all that shit with the Penguin?
Yeah, I think I like how they're bringing the Penguin to is, whereas the Penguin's not going to be Danny DeVito from a sewer who like turned into like a penguin, you know, type thing. I like how they're doing it. And we kind of talked about it before. It reminds me of Gotham and the Penguin, where he's a real villain and not like a fake penguin. You know what I mean? Which was, I guess, was cool when they brought those back out with Michael Keaton back in the day. But we're so past that with all the Batmans. I like how they're doing it. And I like how they introduced the Joker without showing his whole face, because I feel like they're like, we're not sure who's going to play the Joker yet.
Yeah, because I have no idea who that dude was.
Yeah, me either. And then at first they caught me for a second. I'm like, oh, is that the Joker? And then he sends him a riddle. And then I'm like, wait, I'm confused. And then they start laughing. I'm like, oh, it's the Joker giving the Riddler a riddle on how they're friends. I get it now.
Yeah.
So have you ever watched, do you remember the movie Iron Eagle from way back in the day with Lou Gossett Jr.? That dude who plays the Riddler looks like the kid whose dad runs the military base on Iron Eagle. I was laughing so hard. I was like, that dude did not fit what I thought the Riddler would be, which made it perfect again because he played the perfect psycho.
I thought that kid was the kid from Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh, shit.
Who offers to shit on that girl's chest at the end of the movie.
I haven't seen that movie in years, but yeah. I was just such out of character. I liked how, like, they didn't take huge name actors, but they found people who fit those roles really well. I forget the dude's name. He's in a ton of shit, but the dude who plays, is it Falcone? Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I did not picture him to play that role, but I think he did it well too. I'm very impressed with the people they put in the movie as actors to play these roles. Like I said, though, I was turned off by Twilight shiny bitch vampire dude, but he did a good job.
Going into it?
Yeah, because I'm like, dude, that's the shiny bitch from Twilight. Like, and I never liked Twilight. My kid loved those movies, and I stomached through them because, you know, she liked them, but I could never get into those Twilight movies. So it kind of annoyed me to see him. But then when I watched him play, I'm like, you're almost like a fucking heroin addict, Bruce Wayne, without the drugs, because he's so depressed and like doesn't fuck what he looks like and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, he did really good.
Yeah,
it's totally. You got to figure at some point he wasn't the big playboy, you know?
Right.
And the
what was your favorite casting of it? Like, who do you think they did the best job at putting in a role?
Oh, I think Colin Farrell. That shit. My mom didn't even know who that was. Is the Penguin? Farrell? The Penguin.
That's Colin Farrell?
Yeah, dude. That was fucking awesome.
I can watch that. I thought it was just some actor I didn't know.
I've watched it twice and you can't fucking tell, dude.
Oh my goodness. I am even more impressed because, I had no fucking clue till you just said that. And I literally just watched it last night. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
So I got to ask this. Me and my buddy Karki had an argument over who had the better car. And I have no idea how he thinks this Batman had a better car than Scott Bale.
Scott Bale?
Or I mean, Chris Bale or Christian
Fucking
Bale.
Chachi.
Yeah, no. Now we're going Charles in Charge and some fucking political rant about something. No, sorry, but Christian Bale.
Yeah.
He thinks that this Batman car was better, and we had a big funny argument about it yesterday.
I think this one's cooler, but it's not as tough.
See, that was his
fucking
argument.
tank.
He's like, I like that he was working on it, that it's becoming what it is, and it's something different. And I'm like, but the Dark Knight's car can fucking get blown up, turn into a fucking motorcycle, turn into some kind of jet. I'm all in. And he was like, you're not getting it. It's the grittiness of this car. It's like the beginning of this car. So, like, I get where he's coming from, but we did just look at it completely different.
I think the chase was better in this car.
Okay, yeah.
But the other one's like a little too unstoppable.
Yeah, but that's the car I want, right? So that was where I was basing it off of. But
yeah, because I think you do, really. That's the car you would want him to have eventually. Something more armored.
Hey, I'm jumping around, but he took a shotgun to the chest, man. The way he fucking flew from that shotgun, I was like, that's the most realistic shotgun. But at the end, when they're in that fight or whatever, and the dude just puts the double barrel to his chest, and I was like, that's the most realistic Batman shotgun hit I've ever seen, the way he came off his feet.
Yeah, and he was fucking laid up. He had to use adrenaline or some green shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, dude, but you think they're going to come out with more of these now, or do you think this was a one-off?
I think they want to do at least one more. Immediately, I seen on the internet that they want to. And I could see them going more like a Saw route with the Joker influencing the Riddler and making death traps and shit like on the old show, but like real nasty shit. That's what I would prefer.
Yeah, and then the Catwoman, she was the chick from the Divergent series, but I think she okay, so have you ever watched Divergent?
Yeah.
She's with Trish and 4. She's part of that group. She's one of the ones they almost walk off the ledge to kill herself. Trish killed her boyfriend by accident, like when he went to kill her and never told her. That's the same chick.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so that's something I used to pick up my kid. We'd get her out of school early and go watch those at the movies, then the Harry Potters, that kind of shit. But
Maze Runner.
Yeah, we did that too.
I like those.
I just thought, wow, okay, it's the chick from Divergent series, but she was really good as the Catwoman too. She's probably the best Catwoman I've seen.
I think so. She looked like the comic and cartoon one with the short hair at points. It's like exactly like the cartoon. It was really neat.
She looked more like what they were trying to get Halle Berry to look like, but never nailed it when she played it. You know what I mean?
I never watched that one. Everyone says it's terrible.
Yeah, she wasn't great in the movie either, but like we're asking people to go like so far out of their comfort zone, right? With acting with these things. And Halle Berry just seems like way too nice to play that kind of role that needs to be played.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Yeah,
she is.
Yeah, absolutely. So out of all the movies, like, how do you rank these, or do you not even try? Do you just look at them differently out of all the Batman movies? Because you know me, I compare everything to The Dark Knight.
I think this one's on par, but it's not as good because it doesn't have the other two movies to support it as The Dark Knight does. It's not as like rich of a character yet.
They did do a good job. I mean, as much as it annoyed me, the first hour was setting the stage for everything that was going on. But I was like, just get to it already. You know what I mean? But I'm probably the only weirdo in the world who thinks Batman Begins was an awesome movie, and I know most people hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
All my guys,
they fucking hate that movie.
All my guys like that one a lot.
Yeah, me too. I think it set such a stage where I think this one. Let me be fair though. The first time I watched Batman Begins, wasn't a big fan. I was like, okay, this was okay. Then when the trilogy got over and I went back and rewatched, it made so much more sense to me as somebody who didn't read the comics that I enjoyed Batman Begins even more. And I think that's kind of what this movie is setting for the next ones, is that I think I will, as a first-time watcher of it, will appreciate it more after we get more backstory and I can rewatch and understand the backstory more.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think like there will be a jump in time where he's not as like violent. Because this movie starts off, he's just going out there to fuck people up.
Yeah,
he's
at
pissed.
the end, he even says like, maybe I need to be more than vengeance.
Yeah. It's a good story to tell.
But yeah, like because I'm comparing this one almost to Batman Begins, where I think later on I'll have as long as they keep it going, I'll have more of appreciation for it after I rewatch it. You know what I mean? Than I did the first time around.
Yeah, for sure. I like this one better than that Begins because the city's more fleshed out. That's a huge thing about it. Like they want to make a HBO Max series just about Gotham City.
Okay.
In some regard, I don't know if they're going to make it set in Arkham Asylum. There was going to be like a dirty cop story at some point, but it's all kind of up in the air now. Waiting on like people's response to the movie, I guess.
I will say, am I the only one who noticed that Batman had an epic fail in that movie, though?
Whereabouts?
Like, the whole thing was an epic fail. He didn't stop a fucking thing. Gotham got flooded. Like, it was an epic fail for that movie.
Yep.
You don't see that. Like, that
Never.
was, I got a good twist. Like, he didn't save the day. He didn't save Gotham. Like, it just got worse.
Yeah, but it didn't break him.
Right. Right. And then I liked the twist where the Riddler was the sniper too, because I did not see that coming.
Yeah. I think my only pet peeve after watching it 2 times is the vantage point that those photographs are taken from. The police could have fucking triangulated that, just like tracking a bullet. If someone got shot down there, they could have looked up and be like, he's in that fucking building.
Okay, fair enough. I only watched it once, so I didn't catch that. But when you watch something more, you catch it more.
Yeah. You would think, like, hey, where were these pictures taken from? Like the ones that went up off the thumb drive.
So who is your favorite Batman out of all the movies?
It's hard to say. I think that the fight scenes in the Batman versus Superman, just the Batman one at the start, is pretty fucking badass. But like you said, those went off the rails.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, but like I told you before we started, I can't even judge Ben Affleck because I didn't love the movie. Like, but I think it was the concept, not the making it. I just didn't like the crossover where Batman and Superman were going at it. I think, but that's just me. And you know me, Dark Knight guy, so I don't even got to tell you like that. But can we argue that at all, or is it just given that Heath Ledger was the greatest villain in all of these movies?
I don't like that Joker, dude.
Really?
I don't like the Joker in general. He's fucking nuts.
Okay.
I like the videos he made when he's got the fucking hostages and shit. That's pretty scary stuff.
I did have somebody argue with me that Jack Nicholson was a better Joker than Heath Ledger. And I'm like, you're just caught in the nostalgia because they're older than me. And I'm like, you're just caught in the nostalgia of the actor, I think. Like,
yeah, that's a fat ass Joker.
I
think Bane. I like Bane the best.
So you came back to die with your sister.
Fucking boomer.
Yeah, no, Bane was pretty badass too, and I didn't know who Bane was before the movies because, like I said, I don't follow anything. Yeah. So that was pretty cool to me to get a whole new character that I didn't know about.
It's an original take on Bane too, and they got so much of him in there. Like in the comic books, that's a big deal. He breaks Batman's back, and Batman isn't Batman for a couple of years in the comics.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that either. And then I know they have like different comics too, like Batman Beyond and different things. So I don't get all the different.
Yeah, there's tons of it. It's fucking all great, dude.
Yeah. And well, I'm the guy who, and people will be mad as soon as I say this, I couldn't tell you the difference between a DC movie and a Marvel movie. I don't know which one's which. I don't know who does what. And I know people who are really into it are big into that kind of thing. Like, oh, DC's better than Marvel or Marvel's better than DC. I don't know any of that.
Yeah, it's anybody you see with Spider-Man or Iron Man isn't associated with Batman and vice versa. That's like the 2-3 icons, you know, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Iron Man.
Yeah, I will say, though, with this movie, the more I thought about it last night, I did like the fact that Batman didn't just save everybody. Alfred got blown up. The city got freaking soaked. Like, I liked how they did that. I thought it was a whole different take on where they're going with it.
Yeah, that guy manipulated the shit out of him.
Yeah, yep. And he did, like, and Batman was so upset. Well, at first he thought he knew who he was when he kept going, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I thought he knew who he was too, though. You know,
So did
I. And then he, like, we did this together, and Batman's like, wait, psycho boy.
Right.
I didn't do this with you. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And then he realized he wasn't done, and he didn't do shit, like you said. It
was an epic fail. It was literally to set up where it's going, but I like that it was an epic fail, and Batman didn't save the day. And
well, he saved a lot of fucking people by taking out those dudes in the fucking rafters.
Yeah, that when they were up in the rafters, it reminded me of when all those people to get together on Fight Club to go blow shit up, and they're all smiling at each other, and you can't even see the smiles under their masks, but you know they're smiling under those masks. I was like,
yeah, those kind of fuckers are creepy, dude.
And think about how many people have 500 followers on social media. It's not that hard to get 500 followers, right?
No.
When they're like, he's got 500 followers, but he had hardcore followers. That was kind of realistic too. I was like, oh, this fucking psycho's Adam. And I don't know if you pick up on details, but I found it I like the detail because I think it made him look more psycho when they were like 500 and whatever followers following zero. So like he was following nobody, and they put that out there. I thought for the internet age, that's a big thing because like you're like, oh, he's such a psycho. He only cares about himself.
Yeah. And you got to figure maybe, I didn't notice it, but you can't be profiled that way.
Right. But I just thought like they did little things like that caught my eye, and I was like, okay, because I'm not going to lie. I went into this movie thinking it was going to blow.
I figured you would.
I just kept hearing people who didn't watch comics go, you're going to fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Or who didn't read comics. They're like, you're going to fucking hate it. And then I'm like, I went in with just such a shit attitude, like I said, because I'm like, you're not the Dark Knight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that shit in the subway scene saved it for me. I was so excited after he jumped those fucking punks in the subway that it was enough for me to get to where like the fucking mystery started unfolding.
Yeah, it's one of those that I'll probably have to watch again because, like I said, I went in with such a shitty outlook on it to begin with, which you probably shouldn't do going into it.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say, like, I don't know, cheap rating. If we're rating it 1 out of 10, I give it an 8.
For real?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I would say about 7 or 8.
The last 2 hours, like I said, really got me into it. And I think I'd appreciate the first hour more if I wouldn't have went in with such a shitty attitude, thinking that it was going to be a bad movie, because it was almost, I was looking for reasons for it not to be good, it seemed like. You know what I mean? So it's something I think I'll have to rewatch coming up, but I'll appreciate it more. But I hope they don't kill the series, because like I really hate when they start something and then just don't keep going with it.
Like fucking Netflix.
Yeah.
One season of a fucking TV show and you're done. Yeah,
or like even the Dark Knight series. I feel like there should have been 2 or 3 more movies to that. But I get that Christian Bale didn't want to do it anymore. And it took it. I mean, I read something that it took a real toll on him to play that role physically, because of the way he had to get his body and everything. And I know I read something too that he wanted to go somewhere South America or Africa and get them water and stuff going. And so it was taking away from a lot of shit he wanted to do personally. But I feel like they left the story untold.
They did.
So I hope they don't do that with this.
And that Ben Affleck, that doesn't really seem like it picks up from The Dark Knight to me.
No. I almost thought for a little while they were going to just have him step into the Batman role and keep it rolling, but they didn't. And something happened where they didn't like him because they didn't even ask him back for a second movie.
Yeah. He was supposed to be in this one, writing this one, and then they just never agreed on the storyline.
Okay.
And everything
turned out like it did. Money is Ben Affleck. If you don't like something, don't do it.
True.
You know what I mean?
I'm surprised he did any Batman.
Well, isn't that one of those things as an actor, like you almost can't say no to, because you're iconic forever if you played a certain role, if you played Batman or Spider-Man or these iconic roles.
Yeah.
It's almost against everything you were taught to say no to those roles.
Yeah, and that motherfucker looks just like Batman in both forms,
Yeah. And I'm not a Ben Affleck hater like some people hate him. I thought The Town was great, and he wrote that motherfucker, let alone acting in it, I thought he was good in that movie where he gets all the people out of fucking, Iran back in the day. I forget the name of the movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I think the dude's a good actor. Like, I even liked him in Dazed and Confused as an asshole back in the day. You know what I mean? So, like,
The fashionable male.
I just didn't know how he would be as Batman, and I didn't think he was awful. It's just, I think the reason I had a problem with the movie is I don't like Superman movies.
Oh, man. That Henry Cavill's a badass Superman, dude. You don't like those ones? You didn't like the Man of Steel?
Fair, I watched one of the newer ones and then never watched any more. So the one could have been the reason where I was just like, fuck you.
Yeah, that Justice League one with Henry Cavill, that's like, love it or hate it. I think that's a fucking great movie. It's too long. The Zack Snyder one is like 4 hours long.
Is that something you need to watch something else before you watch it too?
No, because it's just introducing the Justice League, basically. See, like, you could watch that one without Batman versus Superman, and you might enjoy it better.
Well, I'm saying it's something I can watch. I've never followed any of them. So now it's like there's so many movies out. It's like to even get into, say, the Avengers, I got to go back and watch, 3 or 4 movies to even get caught back up.
Yeah, just for the first one. And then there's another 5 between the next one and 5 between the ones after that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm so far behind. I feel like I'd be here a whole nother pandemic catching up.
Mm-hmm. Would you compare this to Iron Man? What's the better movie?
This Batman or Iron Man?
Yeah.
This Batman.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, man. And Iron Man's
like Man or nothing. I thought it was good, but like that this is more gritty. I like this like darker outlook of like I think that's what made me like the Dark Knight series, though. They went darker. This is going even darker than that, so maybe they can get me to like it better. I like the idea because I don't think Batman should be popcorn movies because they're not. They're dark. There's a lot of real evil shit going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What'd you think of that drugs? The drops?
Yeah, that was weird, right? That's something where I'm like, yeah, I could see people at raves back in the 90s if like they had that just like dropping it off and
yeah. It just seems so real. Like,
yeah. I think they did a great job with like again, with just making the movie gritty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that whole fucking drug culture added to it, and then you realize maybe that's why he's not a playboy, because he'd be on that shit.
Yeah.
Because that's the scene, you know?
What I did like better about this movie than even The Dark Knights, where the Dark Knight fight scenes are awesome, but they're so bright that sometimes you kind of like you see when a punch doesn't really land or get kicked right? They darkened the set on all the fights. Like they did them in darker. So they didn't have to be as precise. And it still looked real as shit. I like how they recorded that.
Yeah, that shit in the hallway when the machine guns are going off and you can only see them when the gun fires. Yeah. That was fucking neat.
Yeah, I really like how like the fights looked more real to me because they were darker. So like they didn't have to be as like precise and the punches still looked like they landed and they actually looked more real. I like that type of filming. But I've been noticing weird shit like that over the last couple of years since I've been making content on the internet. I'm like, oh, that's a cool way to film that or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it looked way more violent.
It did too. It did look way more violent. Yeah, these are definitely not your children's Batman movies. Not saying that kids can't watch them, but they're not the children's Batman.
Dude, they're making toys and shit for this movie, like kids' toys.
Okay.
I don't know about that, man.
I want to see the Penguin now. The little figurine, like with the cuts in his face and.
Yeah, they have like, you remember Spawn? That guy makes toys and they're like hyper detailed. They're like 6-inch figures. They got a Penguin one of that.
That's the one I want to see how realistic, because the things they do now, they can make, like action figures look like real people. Whereas we were kids, Hulk Hogan and Jimmy the Superfly Snuka had the same face, just painted different colors. You know what I mean? So Ultimate Warrior was just a more buff Jimmy Superfly Snuka,
right?
What I mean?
With paint on his face.
Yeah.
White skin.
Yeah. All right. Well, I say for the review of Batman, my review is 8 out of 10. I think you should watch it, and don't be a bitch like me. Go into it with a better, open-minded, sense if you go to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what I would tell people.
It's called The Batman because it's a Batman story. You're not going to get a whole lot of Bruce Wayne,
Well, I like that better too. I
Mhm.
didn't know that. I didn't know that's why they called it the Batman. Like,
I'm just saying that myself.
okay,
You know what I mean? I don't know if that's their logic, but it's more of a Batman detective story, which people haven't seen ever.
yeah. And we talked about this before we started recording. And if you're watching this, let me know what you think in the comments about this. But I think they should go get Ian from Shameless, who played the Joker in Gotham, have him come over to the series. I told you that. So anybody watch and if you watch Gotham too, tell me what you think about the dude who played Ian in Shameless coming over to this show to be the Joker.
Or do they bring back Joaquin Phoenix and do that Joker against this guy?
I'd be okay with it. I think he was great in it. I didn't think the movie was great, but I think he was great in it.
Yeah, exactly. It was fucking creepy.
And Joaquin Phoenix has the greatest 10-minute interview with David Letterman you will ever see if you want to go Google it. He's got a beard this big. He is so high on heroin. He does not know what's going on. And at the end of 10 minutes, Dave Letterman looks at him and goes, well, I really wish you could have been here tonight. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Is that back when he was busting rhymes and shit?
Yes. Most awkward 10 minutes in the history of late night television. So go watch it. It is epic. That's when he said, maybe I can come on and do some of my music for you. And Dave's like, no.
Maybe we'll have to break that one down on a future episode of Flagrant and Foul.
Yeah, because that is 10 minutes of the most awkward hilariousness in television. I've probably watched it 5 times in my life and laugh every time.
Sounds fucked up. Did you ever see that documentary about him back in that day?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. Casey Affleck is his fucking brother-in-law. And they did a documentary of him trying to get into the fucking rap game when he was all strung out like that.
No, I need to see that.
And he's abusing his assistant throughout the whole thing, and they fucking get him back. I won't ruin it for you, but it's like Johnny Depp, Amber Heard level fucking revenge shit.
Yeah, and it's so weird that he got strung out because, like, you'd almost think the way his brother River Phoenix went out that you wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to another show we're going to review, one that I know you just binged to catch back up, and a show that I really enjoy, Snowfall, which is very loosely based off of Freeway Ricky Ross's life, and they're actually bringing Freeway Ricky Ross in to help with season 5.
Cool.
Finally pay that man his money because everybody stole his story and his name. You got Rick Ross, the rapper, stole his name. You got Snowfall stealing his story. And this motherfucker couldn't get nothing when he got out of prison except some T-shirts. And then luckily for him, he got into the weed business, the legal weed business, and now he's making legal money, which I know it's a different drug, but literally think about a guy they gave a life sentence to for selling drugs. Right. But then he got out because he helped them bring down the corrupt police that were behind him. Otherwise, he'd do life. And then he gets out and he's making millions legally selling drugs.
Well, weed ain't drugs.
Well, I mean, in the sense of you get it like so in Wisconsin, it is right. You can still go to prison in Indiana. It's getting weird, though. And we're getting off base, but it's getting weird. So I live in a city where marijuana is legal, but in a state where it's illegal.
So like it's not enforced?
Like you can't, if you get busted with anything an ounce or under, they don't even take it. They give it back to you and you can just go.
That's decriminalized then, right?
Nah, decriminalized, they're still supposed to take it. Like there's not a charge. So they literally legalized it here. You can't sell it, but you can own up to an ounce of it, right? But Madison did that. Milwaukee's trying to do it. And then like Eau Claire, it's a $2 fine if you get busted.
$2?
Yeah, I joked. I said, well, if you're a big enough pothead, just tell them I'll get you when we hit 50.
Right. you got bigger fines for smoking fucking cigarettes as a kid.
Yeah, $25 people got. I never got the smoking fine. I got lucky.
Yeah. You had the cup
by the time they started to enforce it, I was a senior, but I was 18.
Yeah.
I did get the stupid fighting fines, though, those $25 fighting fines that we got the last 2 years of school. Like Prindota got one for fighting at the carnival.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, with Shane?
Yeah, is that who he fought? Yeah, I didn't even remember who he fought. I just remember he paid it quick before Pat found out.
Yeah, that was a slobber knocker, dude. Those guys beat the fuck out of each other.
Oh yeah, that was in front of. Oh, now I'm remembering Bradley Park. That's
Yeah, it was on the
right.
way to where we would swim on that little dock.
Who was the crazy fuck who had the rifle in James's car? Was it Paul Cooey?
It was Cooey and James, yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
I don't know. It's going to be a fair fight, I guess.
We're so lucky that didn't turn fucking bad.
Yeah.
But
as bad as it was.
Right.
That kicked off the shit at the carnival later that night, where Thayer got punched in the dick by the carnies.
Yeah, that started that whole shit. Now it's all coming back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So on Snowfall, what did you think about binging, like catching back up? Like, what do you think of Snowfall? How do you like it?
Oh, I've watched all of it, obviously. And I hate waiting week to week because I forget things. And it makes it too difficult. I didn't watch it like in one day.
Right.
Over about 3 days we finished it. And like there's points in it where if you didn't binge it, like when you get to the wedding, there's like a break in all the intrigue at the wedding, and then that's 2 weeks where you don't remember what the fuck happened at the start, and it's all a setup for when they split. The family splits, obviously, anyone who's seen it, and that's all, you know. I don't know what the fuck Reed was doing there.
No, Reed seems to be spinning out of control, and I've been saying this since the second or third season, and you guys, I only talk about this in movie sense because I know there's a lot of sensitive fucks on the internet. They got to kill the ant. That bitch got to go. And I've been saying it for 2 seasons. Like, his aunt's got to go. She's been undermining fucking everything he's been doing. She's been crying. We're not getting enough. She's greedy. Now she just cut his nuts off underneath him in the season. Well, the second to the season finale, taking over. He goes to her, and you're supposed to be family. And you're like, dude robbed me of $70 million. And she's pretty much like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And that's all money he made for her, basically. How much risk was there for her?
Right. Like, Franklin's doing all this. Everybody's making money because of Franklin. And I know in season 1, they make her the caring aunt. We need to help him out. We should do this. But if you think back, that was selfish too. She was just seeing a way to sell that powder and get out of where they were living. It had nothing to do with Franklin, even though in the first season you believe it did. But then the more you see her, you're like, this bitch is shady as fuck and so selfish.
That's true.
And it ain't to let Franklin off the hook because he makes dumbass decisions all the time too. But it's like at least he brings it up with y'all. Y'all that went behind his back and cut his nuts off from underneath him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the freakiest part about that is how Reed just cleaned him out.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's like
that's $72 million. Fuck.
So was that always the plan? You know?
Oh.
See, like Franklin fucking told him on the phone, you're going to fucking kill me. He's probably right.
Yeah. And then Franklin went and robbed his aunt and uncle, which I feel like Jerome is the one who I feel the worst for because I feel like he's got a true love for both sides. And he's caught in the middle of, I can't remember his wife's name, but the aunt.
Louis?
Louis and Franklin. I believe that he's so caught in the middle of what's going on there. And I think he just wants he wants to be Rodney King. Why can't we all just get along?
It's true.
Like Jerome's the one I feel the worst for. And then I really like how Franklin's buddy, I forget his name too, his good friend, the one who's in the streets.
Is it Leon?
Yes. I like how his mind is changing, right?
Yeah.
He's looking at it differently. He's like, I'm killing my own people, man. Instead of helping, I'm doing I like to see that they're showing that some people that were in that life actually see the destruction that they're leaving behind.
Yeah, and he's the one right down there.
Right. And Franklin don't give a shit. He don't care how many bodies or junkies he leaves behind him.
Yeah. Like when he had the trip, you know, he realized it then.
Right.
But he doesn't fucking care now.
Hey, and you let that psycho motherfucker into your wedding and he dosed your fucking chocolate fucking strawberries, bro. Like, I knew he was up to some shit. I didn't know what. I thought it was more scandalous, when he was doing shit. But then when they started tripping, I was like, this motherfucker dosed them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy's fucking scary, dude. I thought, like you said, I thought it was part of like a revenge plot. Like we were going to have a Game of Thrones wedding or some shit.
Yeah, the Red Wedding, because they did kill dude's girlfriend or whatever, and his baby's mom, that kind of shit. Like, so
and his daughter, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's a big man right there, dude.
That's how everything went completely sideways because the daughter got caught in the car, and okay, yeah. See, I'm trying to remember back. You're right. Not only week to week, remembering back season to season on what set it all off, because this show, it took off pretty quick. You know what I mean with the storyline. Yeah. That's probably something I should go back and rewatch because I like to do that every once in a while. Take a good series and then just go rewatch it.
Yeah, I'll do that when the new season's coming out.
Yeah, like I'm a guy who's seen Sons of Anarchy like 3 times, which is probably way too many times to watch any series. But
I can't believe you watched fucking Supernatural twice.
Love that show. I'll watch it a 3rd time.
Me too. I might watch it a 2nd, but I'll never catch up to the 3rd.
Yeah,
I'm not like, gonna fucking live that long.
Well, and the funny thing is once I start to, like, if I rewatch something a 3rd time, if I'm like, oh, that episode sucked balls, I'll just skip it and then go to the next one. Like the episode about Tomahawk on Supernatural kind of really sucked. And the only reason I watched it is because the 2nd time again is because it was about Tomahawk.
Right.
Which is
and that restaurant did look like Lanús.
Okay, fair enough. They should have filmed that shit in Tomahawk. That'd have been even better. Like,
yeah, would have.
Because those Swamp Thing movies are filmed there.
For real?
Nokomis.
No shit.
Yeah, they're filmed in Nokomis.
Oh, I wish I would have known that. I like that 2nd Swamp Thing. It's so shitty, but it's funny.
Yeah. But I watch a lot of British movies, so like low budget doesn't bother me.
True.
Snowfall, though, I think right now is probably one of the better shows I'm watching that's out. Like, there's always a good handful of shows. You know, I'm into Yellowstone, I'm into Mayan. Snowfall's right up there for me.
Yeah, there's a character in that show for everybody to relate to, I think.
Yeah, and I like how the crackhead girl came around. And I like that Franklin and them actually put her to work, too. I like that they felt some obligation because they knew her when she was clean, she was friends, and they felt some weird obligation to help her out, which I thought was very cool.
Well, I think that Leon realized he did that to her.
Yeah.
But for me, that shit's about Jerome.
Okay.
He's a werewolf. He's a big black werewolf. He's so fucking wild, dude. Hey, it's funny, dude. It's great.
He beat the fuck out that dude in the parking lot.
Yeah, he did.
Savage werewolf. Threw him an ass whooping, like an epic ass whooping.
And then he goes, pick your friend up. Get that trigger next time, motherfucker. He's so wild, dude. Like every time he comes on the screen, you know something fucking crazy's going to come out of his mouth.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite characters, too, is Oso. Big fan of Oso.
Yeah, yeah.
Who is Smokey the Bear? Okay, wrong movie. But
who put the fire in the holes?
He was Oso, too, so you know, like... But, like, I feel like Oso's character is one who got thrown into a situation he never seen coming, but somehow kept his humanity, where a lot of them are losing their humanity through all of this, and he seemed to have kept his humanity.
Yeah, and he's killed a lot of people.
Right. And
he's killed a handful of people.
Yeah, it's not like that because you're in the game. That happens. I mean, like, he's still got real love and compassion, right? Like, he hates what happened to Franklin. But he knows he can't help him even though he wants to because he knows what Reed will do to him. But then Reed just set him up, right? Like, that was Reed that just got him arrested. I think it is. Who else would have got Oso arrested?
Well, my mom noticed that DEA guy was from earlier in the show.
The one that's working for Louis?
No, the fucking white guy, the bald guy that goes, hey, Oso. He's been on the show earlier.
Okay,
and
I'm going to watch that too.
They just kind of forgot about all that because they had relied on Reed's connections for so long.
Okay.
And then you realize, like, they didn't have that, like, get out of jail card now. And all this time they've been under the DEA surveillance.
And they just got Oso with $10 million.
Yep. Yep.
It's bad enough you get arrested, but these motherfuckers are losing the money they're getting arrested for, too. So, like, you did it for nothing.
Yeah, and then at that point, you're like, God damn it, it won't be back on for another year. Because I got to know what the fuck happens to him.
and people don't realize this. I'm sure they blow it out of proportion for the movies, but this really happened with the CIA and the Iran-Contra and everything in Nicaragua. This all happened in the 70s and 80s where our government was funding that war by selling drugs in California.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's a real story that I'm sure they take creative liberties with, but that's the kind of shit where I'm like, okay, you got me now because there's some real history to this stuff, and it's how fucked up our government is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how accurate do you have to be? I mean, you get the point.
Right. So I don't mind if movies are misaccurate unless they're crazy misaccurate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of Billy the Kid, like stuff about Billy the Kid. I just watched some stupid movie called The Kid the other day. Don't watch it. On Amazon Prime. You saw it?
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas Dave Rudebach does not get hung. He gets killed in Mexico by Mexicans. Like, you hung him on the fucking show. That bothered the shit out of me.
It's my goddamn gang.
Yeah. So was it a tenderfoot with the
right?
Like when Christian Slater, that's who played him in Young Guns? Yeah. Well, like, he gets killed in Mexico in real life. Like, he doesn't get hung, and they hung him, and that really drove me insane in that movie.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't make sense. I get that.
You got to be somewhat accurate, but I don't think you have to be 100% accurate. You know what I mean? In stuff like this. And how many of us really know the ins and outs of what happened with Freeway Ricky Ross and the CIA and all that? I don't think we all have a great sense of it. So, like, I think they can take more liberties. And they can definitely do it with the storyline because none of us were there.
To this point, he hasn't had much personal input on the story?
None.
Oh.
They had nothing to do with him and they just reached out to him. I saw a podcast a couple weeks ago where he's coming in for the new season, and they're actually going to pay him to be an advisor on the show.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope they give him a cameo. Like, I love when they do that because The Wire did that. So, you remember Avon Barksdale from The Wire?
I believe so.
He ran the Barksdale crew. Mm-hmm. Then there was the deacon from the church, the old black man from the church.
Yeah.
His name is Big Melvin. He literally was Avon Barksdale back in the day in Baltimore in real life. Sat 17 years in prison, was arrested by Ed Burns, one of the writers of the show.
Really?
They brought him back to, like, make sure shit was more real and play the deacon. So it's a throwback to him. Snoop, the lesbian girl on there, she's really from the streets. They had to talk her into stop selling drugs when they hired her. And then the black guy the big fat black guy who gets revenge with Omar at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real Omar from Baltimore from back in the day.
Wow.
Gay dude, robbed drug dealers, went to prison, out now working on the show. I love when they do realistic stuff like that. So I like that they're bringing Rick Ross to the show too, because these people will keep it 100, right? They'll keep it where we really understand what happened. I love when they bring people in to make it more realistic.
Yeah. I had assumed that he was already an advisor. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, I just watched him say on Joe Rogan once that they didn't give him shit. He ain't got shit to do with it, but they're taking his whole life story, right? Mm-hmm. And then finally, I just seen him on a podcast that said they're finally coming around with a bag of money to help on the show, which, like,
sweet, because it's already good, man.
Yeah, that's my argument. I get Rick Ross won the lawsuit for the name, which I still find weird how the rapper won the lawsuit over taking Freeway Ricky Ross's name.
Legal name.
Like, bro, throw him $1 million or something. Like, you literally got famous and rich off his name. Like,
was that the intent? He took the gangster's name and
because I
expected the street credit from it.
Yeah, he was a prison guard.
Oh.
Became a rapper and took Freeway Ricky Ross's name, but just called himself Rick Ross.
That's kind of fucked up, dude.
So, like, throw him something, bro. Just spent 20-some years in prison. You got rich off his name. Like, throw him something.
Did they ever fight about it?
They went to court, and Freeway Ricky Ross lost. Even though that's his God-given name, he lost the lawsuit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm just like, you can do it, but, like, be good about it. Like, take care of the man. He just got out of prison. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what Rick Ross is worth, but I've seen what he drives and where he lives. Like, throw him $1 million and we'll just call it good. You know?
Yeah. But then you got to figure, I want half your shit. I want at least half.
No, I'm just saying, even after you lost or you won the lawsuit and you don't have to pay him shit, I thought the right thing to do would take
you would
care
think
of
you'd think you'd avoid the lawsuit and just be like, yeah, it is your fucking name. Here's some money.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see where Snowfall goes from here because, like, they just popped the last episode up. Like, they usually leave you hanging, but they left you hanging with a lot in this last episode of Snowfall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to start up with he's going to work with Kane, and that's his distribution.
I don't know. And then, or do you just take your aunt and uncle's money and disappear? Because I'd be out the game.
He took the coke too, man.
Did he? Because that's what I wasn't sure. I would have took the coke too because I'm robbing him. So I'm taking everything, but I wasn't sure because they didn't show you what he walked away with.
And then when he went to Kane, I assumed they were going to make good on that promise Leon made. And then Leon seemed like he's leaving anyway.
Yeah, he was trying to talk them other dudes out of it. He's giving this whole, like, we need a new life. We need to start doing different speech. And then the motherfucker looks at him and goes, so if you ain't in charge, who is?
Like, am I in charge when you're gone?
Yeah, it's like Leon's like, you missed the whole fucking point of this whole conversation, bro. Like, I really like the show. I think they're doing good with it. People who haven't watched it, go out and watch it, man. Even if you listen to us talk, we didn't give shit away on the whole scheme. Even if we told you what happened, there's so much that goes on and the way it rolls out. I think it's such a good show. And they killed Avi, man.
Mm-hmm.
I like that coked out little dude.
Yeah, he's a fucking weird dude.
Yeah, I liked him, though. He made the show fun.
Mm-hmm. Especially early on.
Yeah.
When they first meet him.
He really built a real trust with Franklin. Him and Franklin really trusted each other.
He did. He tried to save him at the end there. He was concerned for him. His fucking life's in jeopardy. He's still concerned about Franklin.
Right. And now that fucking dude's not part of the CIA anymore.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what he went in and told the dude, I got $72 million and I only got one stipulation? I want to be a CIA agent again. You think that's what that is?
Yeah. But then with Javi being dead, there's no operation. They really threw all that shit up in the air, dude.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was so caught up in the drugs of it all. I didn't even think about the weapons of it all because Javi's the weapons guy that they need to get to South America. So, yeah, I didn't even think about that till you just said it.
And the fucking KGB guys.
Yeah. And
they're down there. They're down there in South America.
That mom be fucking shit up every time she comes around. She sticks her nose in and makes shit worse.
True.
Like, bitch, you ain't the moral compass. Like, get the fuck out of there already. Yeah. Your husband, his dad ended up dead because he couldn't shut his fucking mouth.
So he is dead?
Huh?
They did confirm, like, he's gone, huh?
I'm pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you got chased out of your own fucking country and you're still going to be up in the middle of shit?
Yep. Yeah. She's another selfish one.
Yeah, I'd be so mad at my mom if she got in the middle of me and my girl's shit too.
Right.
Like, mind your business. Mind your business. Back off. I'm grown now.
Coke business aside, stay out of my business.
Right. Like, don't go into my personal life and start telling my fucking future wife and baby's mom that she needs to get away from me and shit too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty fucking disloyal, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I hate motherfuckers on shows who aren't loyal. You know what I mean? Like, because of the type of shows we're watching, you know? Like, I watch a lot of crime shit. So, like, when you turn on somebody in the show, it's like, it's against everything you're supposed to stand for.
Yep.
And then with Snowfall, it makes it worse because they're family.
True. Yeah, it's not even like honor among thieves at that point. Like Jerome.
Yeah, he's like the only one because like I said, I don't give Franklin a pass. He did some shady shit too, but the aunt is fucking
Yeah.
out of control.
Yeah, the thing about this, like at the start when Franklin handled Rob, I was like, oh, he's a dirty little fucker.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
But then at the end when he robs Louis, I was like, yeah, he's a fucking badass. You still have to like him even though he's done so much evil shit.
Yeah, they do a good job of making him still a likable character through the whole thing. With Jerome, it's like he's the one who's loyal. He's the one who's, like truly wants to keep the family together, I think, more than anybody. But Louie's even doing him dirty, and people don't seem to be seeing it. She's got a cop working for her, killing motherfuckers behind her husband's back.
Yeah, and that cop's trying to fuck.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure everybody that she's around is probably trying to fuck her at that point. But it's just the fact that you're behind your husband's back doing some bogus ass shit. Here's a little cool tidbit. Did you know the guy who plays Franklin is British?
No.
So he has a British accent, and they really wanted him to get a street accent. Guess who they hired to be his voice coach?
Snoop Dogg.
WC.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
WC.
shit.
We picked him up from a hotel and brought him to the hood to teach him how to speak English back. You should go watch some of those interviews with the dude who plays Franklin.
Wow.
He's like, I was scared, bro. He was like, I was scared. Like, yeah. But WC is the one. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. They're like, hey, teach this motherfucker how to speak street Compton. You know what I mean?
That's a strange choice.
Yeah. I don't know what the connection with the people who run the movie is with WC either. I don't know if they have some kind of like working relationship or what, but
yeah,
that was
Oh, I got a question for you. That kid with the afro that's in Leon's crew with the skateboard and shit, is that supposed to be John Singleton?
Oh, I never thought of that.
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be him because he's fucking with a camera. In the first season, he's got a video camera and shit like that. I always thought that was neat.
That's a good catch. That really might be because, homage to one of the guys who started this types of films and TV. And yeah. And he's dead now, right?
I thought he was like a producer on here.
Yeah, I thought he died, though. I could be wrong.
He could have maintained the credit.
John Singleton. Yeah, was an American film actor.
Wow.
It literally could be even more, though, now that you said that, because I actually think he died a year or two ago. So that could be just them throwing this character in as an homage to the guy who created the show and set the stage for all these types of shows and movies with what he was doing in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to my favorite crime show probably on TV right now. And I'm sad that the last season is coming out soon because it's almost over. Animal Kingdom, a TV show that's based on a book out of Australia.
And they had the series there too.
Oh, they did have an Australian
I believe
series?
so.
Okay. People, when they ask me, what is it? And I'm like, Point Break on steroids.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Look at their mantra for their family. May we all get what we want, but never what we deserve.
Isn't that directly from Bodhi?
Maybe, but Smurf says it all the time, right? So I'm like, it just shows the mindset of this family. And the first episode I watched of that show I was in, I was like, they got me. This fucking show.
Yeah. The first season, that heist was so elaborate.
Yeah.
I thought, how the fuck can you do more? And then they started working the whole family. What would you call it? Disruption or dysfunction of it?
Yep. And then they turned Baz and Smurf against each other. And I hated Baz from day one. So I was cheering when that motherfucker caught it. I was cheering. I'm like, he's the biggest douchebag in the world. One, you're trying to run a family, but you're a complete asshole. Two,
Yeah.
this kid actually might be your fucking kid. But even if he's not, and Jay, you loved his mother and you're supposed to be brothers with his brothers or with his uncles, but nobody's accepting this kid like their family. That was really strange to me. Like nobody put their arm around this kid and was like, I got you.
Yeah. I don't like Jay.
No, I did at first. I don't anymore. Like Jay was likable. Now I don't like Jay anymore. They've made that character. They did that with the same guy, the same actor in Peaky Blinders, though. I liked him at first, and now I want to stab him in the neck.
Yeah, he's a little fucker, dude.
Yeah. Like Animal Kingdom was so crazy in the first season. They do everything. But when it gets to the second season, I love how they brought in the girlfriend's dad and then they robbed the military base. And like, I liked how that played out too.
What's the first one then? Because I thought that was the first season.
Oh, maybe that is the first season. It is the first season. Second season is when Baz gets killed. That's what it is. I'm blending them. Well, they hit that job though with the junkies in the first season too. Remember where Darren accidentally kills the cop by bouncing him off of the fucking dumpster? The cop grabs on their truck on that heist,
and he fishtails him into the dumpster.
Yeah, and then he dies. Yeah. So that's where I got confused because I thought that was the heist at the end of the first one. No. So like you're saying, yeah, the second one, they almost get caught in that bitch.
Yeah, in the base.
Yeah,
that was the one that was like so huge.
Well, I got to ask this. Why'd you bring 2 pistols to a military base when you were robbing it? Are you going to shoot your way out of a military base?
True.
Like, for real? And Pope's on the floor with a knife when they're in there hiding. Like, what are you going to do? You might kill 1 or 2 of them, but now you're going to get executed by court-martial or some shit for going on a fucking base. Like, the guns made no sense to me.
Yeah, and I assume they can just fucking detain you on the base.
Yeah.
And fuck you up.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure you go to a real court. I think you might go to a military court for some shit like that. Yeah. I don't get the guns, though. The guns baffle me because even the guy who's the military guy who's the chick's dad, he's like, no guns.
Thomas Howell, Pony Boy?
Yeah. It's like, no guns, dude. And like, they're like, we're bringing guns, right? And they're like, of course. And it's like, fuck you bringing 2 pistols to a military base?
I don't know. Maybe to shoot themselves.
Okay, that's it. Like, fuck are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll never forget this. They leave Darren outside as a lookout, okay? Dressed in the military stuff. Bro's got a beard this big. Like, anybody looked over, they'd be like, you ain't in the military.
Oh, he must be a G.I. Joe.
Yeah, like, fuck is that? Like, I did say there was some shit that made me laugh. Like, they should have almost had Jay or Baz out there. Exactly. Pope or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they got to bring Pope in for whatever reason. I guess schizophrenia makes you good at fucking stealing shit.
You think it's schizophrenia? I just assume bipolar all the time.
I would assume they've mentioned that it's probably bipolar. That sounds more right. It's pretty close to the same thing.
Yeah, I just know a couple people with bipolar, and he acts more like they do sometimes, you know. Pope is my favorite character on the show, hands down. And he doesn't seem it, but he is the most emotionally complex character on the show, even though all you ever see pretty much is anger.
Yeah. Well, after the mom dies, he gets pretty fucking torn up.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I think his emotional complexity, people like don't maybe see it as much. Where I look at him, where every day is an internal struggle with this guy. Every day.
Yeah.
And I liked it when they dosed him. Well, when he took that shit at the
commune.
Yeah, because he's like, drugs don't work on me. And then he's all fucked up. I'm like, yeah, buddy.
How's that working?
Yeah, because the second season, the big heist was when they robbed the church.
I don't even remember that shit.
Pope became a member of the church so they could rob it.
Yeah, and he had that girlfriend.
Yeah, that was the big heist because Jay got his leg tore open and they had to staple it shut. Baz was still alive. That was leading up to Baz robbing Smurf and...
Yeah. He cleaned out the storage units, right?
Yeah, see, and as much as I hate Smurf, and she was being shady, I don't think she was going to keep all that money. I believe her when she said that was for the family later on. Now, don't get me wrong. Would the majority of it went to Smurf? Sure. But I really believe Smurf would have took care of her boys through the whole thing. And I think Baz got all up in his feelings, and he robbed the wrong bitch, obviously.
Yeah, he did. And I think with the flashbacks that they do know about Smurf, that's more apparent. That
So
she
you
was
watched
more,
The Kid.
it was about her kids.
Yeah, you watched the movie The Kid, you said?
I don't know if it's the same one. I was thinking about the one where Billy the Kid turns out to be this old guy living out in the wilderness.
Oh, no, this is on Prime, and the young Smurf is actually in that movie.
Oh, she's pretty, man.
Yeah, and they never had that bitch put a bra on, not once in fucking Animal Kingdom.
Nope.
Like, and do you think they intentionally found a big titted chick because Smurf walks around with her tits hanging to her knees as an old
Yeah, I think you have to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I did not picture Smurf being pretty when she was younger, though, as an older woman. So that kind of caught me. But I do like how they did the storyline of you get to meet Darren's dad, you get to meet Pope's dad, you get to meet fucking Craig's dad when they were all young before she got pregnant with him. I like that.
That guy looks just like fucking Leary, dude.
Oh, he does look like a young Dennis Leary, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis Leary is fucking great on that show.
Yeah, he is.
And the chick from the 100 ain't bad either.
Is that the Asian girl that was with Leary?
That's his girlfriend. She was one of the leaders of the Grounders in the 100.
The fucking Grounders. What was that guy's name? Lincoln?
Lincoln, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show for about the first half of it.
I liked it through season 5, and I think they killed it with 6 and 7. I think when they went to that bright, shiny fucking Wizard of Oz planet is where
generic,
it went downhill.
The generic Doctor Strange looking motherfucker ruined it.
Yeah, even though in the Mayans, he was a great psycho in the Mayans.
That guy's on the Mayans?
He's the one who kidnaps Coco.
Oh, yeah, he's out in the fucking commune thing with the
meth.
Little
fucking meth mountain. Yeah. Like, he did play a great fucking meth psycho. Like,
yeah, much better role.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Animal Kingdom, where it's going. I hate that it's ending, but most shows end at season 7, 8 anyway. This is 6. It's not too far off. And
you're going to get a good ending to it. It's not going to get canceled. They're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
And I did read once a long time ago that at about season 6, they stop making money on shows because people are making so much. And about season 7, they start losing money.
Yeah. Like they're just paying the stars to keep it on.
Yeah. I think that's what's happening with The Walking Dead. And that's why they're shifting it all down to Fear the Walking Dead. So
that shit's starting to look like old Star Trek.
The Walking Dead?
Fear the Walking Dead looks like fucking Star Trek from the 50s and 60s. The sets? It looks fucking bad, dude.
Did you watch the new one yet?
No.
Me either, but I guess Madison comes back this season.
I got a question for you. Does that fucking World Beyond have anything to do with shit? Like,
yeah, and it's one season. It's really good. And I think, to be honest, the only reason they probably made it was to keep Rick alive in the series, because they don't show him, but they talk about him. And we were supposed to already have those Rick Grimes movies, but the pandemic hit. So I think they did the World Beyond because it brings back the bitch from the junkyard, the A and B chick who takes Rick away.
Yeah.
She's in it. She talks about Rick being alive.
Oh.
And I think it brings around to understand more of what's going on with the Commonwealth, because that's pretty much one season about the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I liked it. You didn't watch it?
I didn't finish the second season. I watched probably 3 of them.
There's only 10.
Yeah, and the kids, like the black girl with the fucking stone spear, she started doing Vanilla Ice backhands with the stick on people, on the zombies. It's like, just kill the fucking zombie and be done with it.
Right.
They're doing all the ninja shit.
It gets better, and I think if you watched it through, like, I think it's one of those you want to binge, not watch week to week for sure. Because, like, I don't know, did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah.
So season 3, if you watched it week to week, was not good when they were in Ireland. If you
Yeah.
binge watched it, it was a really good season. There was something weird about it. Didn't sit right if you had to wait week to week.
Because they break it up at the wrong point.
I don't know, but even I watched interviews with Kurt Sutter. He was like, people who binged it loved it. People who watched it week to week hated it. And I was like, yeah, I didn't love it that much when I watched it the first time, but when I rewatched it, I liked it a lot more.
Yeah. I hate watching fucking shows week to week, period.
Well,
I like to watch at least 2 or 3 at a time. And that's my evening, you know?
And Animal Kingdom are the only two I have to be there to watch them when they air. Like, I'll even deal with commercials for those two shows.
Did you see the commercials for Yellowstone? Not to get too far off of fucking Animal Kingdom, but have you watched Yellowstone on Paramount Network ever?
I bootleg everything.
Oh, man, the commercials on Paramount, like, it's the Yellowstone Network. The guys from the show are in all the commercials.
Oh, I have seen the water commercials with that river water or whatever.
They're selling the fucking clothes they wear in the show. They got commercials for the outlet for that shit. They got the fucking beer that they made, the seltzer water beer. They got fucking John Deere stuff, all kinds of shit, like cowboy fucking clothes.
Okay.
Little Jimmy's selling all this shit. It's really fucking weird. And they're taking themselves out of character, and then you got to go back and watch the show.
Oh, that's weird.
It is. It kind of fucks it up.
Jimmy's new show's coming this next year. 4 6s.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. I always say they should just make more Yellowstone.
Yeah, I liked 1883 though. I thought that was really good. So,
well, for me, 1883 was like, she's narrating it. It's like, why don't you just say, I like to fuck. I like to ride horses. It's nice out here being away from everybody, so I can fuck and ride horses.
So what you're saying is she just likes to ride things.
Yep.
No, but I think Tim McGraw killed that. I think Faith Hill killed that. I think the way they show you how they got there, I liked it. But I know my sister hated it because of the ending.
Yeah, it seemed kind of uneventful. She died?
Yeah, by a tree. And that's how they end up with all that land in Montana.
And that's where they are, yeah. That does make sense. It's a little long to get to that point, but
hey, anything with Sam Elliott, I'm all for. But another actor that you brought up that was awesome, and we got to talk a little bit about Dennis Leary in Animal Kingdom, because he brings some fire to Animal Kingdom.
He did, when they needed it too. It was kind of getting boring.
Yeah, and how he helps plan that heist, and he's the dumbest fuck in the world though, because he stole a few grand from his kid to lose out on $100,000.
Yeah, that's not really explained too well either.
No, he just robs Darren and disappears.
Because I thought he was going to be like the Smurf. Going forward, I thought they were going to get rid of Smurf and it was going to be Leary, but
well, what do you think about this last season? You think it's a battle between Pope and Jay to take over the family?
That's kind of strange because I don't remember how it ended, but I thought Pope was the one who wanted Jay around.
Well, yeah, they were having problems, and then I think Pope was debating on killing him for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that he came more to the terms of that he needs him, that because the chick from Bones, even though she's dead, kept talking in his ear about you need Jay, you need Jay, you need Jay for all of it, you know. But Jay wants to take everything they have. He's got no love for that family whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I feel
which is kind of. Do you agree with that?
That he's going to try to clear him out?
Like that it's justified.
It depends how you look at it. If you're Jay and you're like, you left my mom to die, be a junkie, but you have all of this and you did nothing to help, I understand where he's coming from. Mm-hmm. And you're also looking at it like it's all criminal money. You didn't earn any of this shit. So I'm sure in his head it's justified.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know how it's going to end, but I feel like Pope has to go out in a blaze of death.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no other ending for Pope except to go out in a blaze of death, however that may look.
Yeah, and then something like that's always got to be like a sacrifice for his family, you know, like
Yeah, and
how does
Darren,
that come about?
I think Darren ends up in prison.
Really?
Craig ODs, and I have no idea what happens to Jay, but that's just my guess.
Are those just wild guesses, or
Yeah,
are you
just
really
absolutely.
thinking
If
about it?
I'm the writer, how do I end these characters with still doing the show some justice? That's all I was thinking is Pope's got to die. Darren probably ends up in prison because he's the least equipped to be in prison.
Yeah.
Or
Craig, is he the best?
Well, I know where you're.
Because
Yeah.
he can handle it.
I don't think emotionally he can handle it. Physically, he could probably handle it, right? Like, but I feel like Craig's got to go out in an OD almost, doesn't he?
He was getting fucked up again.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be something like it's going to be on the job.
Okay, because the chick took off with his kid.
Mm-hmm.
Which I never understood. Like, you got mad because he told you to stop selling drugs when you have a baby. Like, I didn't understand that.
Mm-hmm. From his house.
Well, yeah, and he said, I got you. I'll take care of everything. Just stop selling drugs. Why not stop selling drugs? One of you need to be free for that kid.
Yeah, and then at the time, wasn't like their whole operation was kind of up in the air?
Yeah,
and
but
she wanted shit right then and there.
But at what point do you go, one of us has to not do criminal shit because we have a baby?
Well, they're both on cocaine.
Well, fair enough. Okay,
you know,
fair enough.
Which one of us is going to take a break from the cocaine?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see where everything we talked about goes. I'm excited to see where Batman goes from here.
Mm-hmm.
Snowfall is going to be popping with the new season. You already know it. There's no choice but with the way they left it. And you figure the last season of Animal Kingdom has to be crazy because it's the last season. I kind of really hope we slow down or are done with the flashbacks, though.
Yeah, given that they only have so much time left.
And we got a good backstory, right? We know that Smurf turned Julia into a junkie by giving her alcohol and shit when she was really little. Mm-hmm. Like, she'd be drinking and she'd be like, drink this and calm down. You know what I mean? So we know what Smurf did to them. I would like to find out why Pope is called Pope, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. They may have mentioned it before. But I want to say,
I remember, and I rewatched this before the last season came out.
I want to see Jay get shot in the face.
In both shows? Because I don't know if you watch Peaky Blinders, but I want that fucker to die in that show, too.
I quit watching Peaky Blinders because all they do was fucking light cigarettes and smoke them. It got to the point where, like, dude, I get it. You're cool. So, yeah, they can shoot his ass in both shows. Twice in the face.
Okay.
I think Darren escapes.
To Belize?
With
his boyfriend?
I think so. I like how they're responsible about that, and they don't do, like, hey, we're gay, and then they do fucking sex or kiss, and that's their character. They're the gay guys that kiss.
Oh, how they put some
they're real fucking people, dude. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And I hate to shit on this show because I like it, but to play to your point, Ashley's only role right now in Bel Air is that she's gay.
Yeah. That and their
I'm sure they'll get to more with her, but so far in season 1, that's her whole role.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that, but I was thrown off by the first episode because everyone in that family is elite.
Okay.
And I can't relate to that. Besides the fact that they're blacks. Like, that's interesting because I'm not black. So it's like, oh, I get to learn about this, but I don't like the elitist type. Like, everything they do is this shit,
But to get to your point, I agree with you. That's what they did with Ashley in Bel Air, and you're like, you could have done so much more with her character in the first season. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. I like that Darren and Dude are very nuanced. Their characters have a lot of emotion. They built up the relationship to us between them two. They've known each other for a long time. They had this fling in Belize, but we understand where their backstory comes from.
That first time you see his boyfriend, he gets busted in the bathroom.
Oh,
what are you doing, faggot? And he whips his ass.
Yeah, him and Jay kicked the shit out of him. I think he says he stole my wallet or something. And dude, you're in a fucking wetsuit.
Yeah, he stole your wallet and put your dick in his mouth.
Yeah.
Get him. Let's whip his ass. But
I like how they had Craig break the ice with his brother too, where he's like being gay.
Oh, he goes, yeah, no shit.
He's like, quit being an asshole. We all know you're gay. And
Yep.
he's like, or he goes, I know you're gay. And he goes, everybody? He goes, no, but I do. So quit being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, and I don't want to talk about it as much as you don't want to talk about it. So to go get your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like Craig was like, it doesn't matter to me. You're my brother. Quit being an asshole. You know, I
and
like
he would know.
Yeah, but I like how he did it. Like it was just because I think that would happen in real life more and more with brothers, right? Like if I had a brother, and because I could give a shit less if somebody's gay, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, dude, you ain't got to hide it for me. I already know. You know what I mean? Like, go on. Like, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like you said about a couple people we know. You've always been like that. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, if you're happy, go ahead. I don't give a shit what makes you happy, and I'm sure you don't give a shit what makes me happy. As long as we're all happy and not hurting anybody, I don't give a fuck.
Just in general, I don't give a shit if you're happy.
Well, that's true too. Most people, if I don't know you, I definitely don't give a fuck how you're walking around with your day to day, which I probably should care more, but I don't.
Yeah, and everyone else is like that. But I'm not going to cause any trouble for you.
No, like I don't care like who you love. I don't care who you have sex with as long as they're 18 and older. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're having sex with 16 people at once. I don't care about polygamy. If you want 3 wives and they're okay with it, I don't give a shit. As long as everybody who's an adult is in on it, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife watches Sister Wives, and I always tell her, don't get any fucking ideas. One of you is hard enough.
Shit.
She couldn't handle it. She'd end up throwing one of the other bitches out the door. Like, you're out of here.
Who could, man?
Yeah, they can't even. She watches it, and I watch. They hate each other for the most part. Like, well, they like each other. They hate the dude for the most part.
That's weird.
They'll end up
that would be how it goes.
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
Come that time of the month.
Yeah,
they'd be fucking scheming on his ass.
And for all the Me Too people who just love that comment, let's hear it below.
Well, I mean, it's fucking human nature. They're gonna sync up. They're gonna have a plan.
Oh, fuck, a plan.
And he's not part of it.
Oh. Well, Scott, I would say that I suggest all 3 shows we talked about, movie and 2 shows, for everybody to go watch if they haven't.
Yeah, and Mayans. We got to get around to Mayans sometime.
I'm a huge Mayans fan. I almost think if we're going to review them, we got to review Sons and then Mayans in the same show.
Yeah.
Because you really can't talk about one without the other. And if you guys think I can talk about a show, wait till you hear me on Sons of Anarchy, because I got a lot of feelings about shit that went on there, like fuck Tara. But that's for a whole different show.
Maybe next time.
I'll put this out there. It's the same with The Sopranos. Fuck Carmela. I can't stand when somebody knows what the fuck they're getting into and then cries about it later. I don't care if it's female or male.
All I got to say,
what the fuck you were getting into, and now it's a problem.
I can't handle that whole family, dude. I hate every single person on The Sopranos except for Chris. And he was a fucking idiot.
I hated Chris. You hated Tony?
Oh. No more deli trays for you. It's like you're going to fucking prison, dude.
I love Tony in that. So I don't know.
He's a good villain, basically, but I do not like him.
I liked how they kind of almost made him the good guy, even though he's a villain.
That's what I didn't like.
Oh, okay.
He's too fucking dirty to be made out to be like, not a martyr, but like someone respectable.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of based on that you choose a life of crime, you can't even trust anybody around you, right? So like the Sopranos, the Mayans, the Sons, they all prove that. Like that once you choose that life of crime and somebody becomes a good liar, you never know if they're telling you the truth or not.
Yep. Yes, right, that's guys. Very relevant on Snowfall.
If you don't go watch these shows, I don't know what the fuck you are doing with your life. You're just wasting your life away doing productive shit, and that's not acceptable.
Nice.
All right. So just I'll go through. Let's do a 1 to 10. I gave Batman an 8. What do you give it?
I'll say 8 too.
What about Snowfall? 1 to 10.
8.
That's funny. I'm with you on an 8 with that too, but it literally, depending what they do, could go up or down from the next season.
Yeah.
And I'll jump out here. I give Animal Kingdom a 9, and I think it could end with a 10 if they end the series correctly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 7 on Animal Kingdom because there's some weird shit, like you said, like the flashbacks.
It is
I
my
wasted
favorite.
a lot of time knowing that it's coming to an end.
My 3 favorite shows on TV right now, though, are Yellowstone, Animal Kingdom, and Mayans in no order. Those are my 3 favorite right now that are still running.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen the latest season yet, but Ozark's up there with me too.
Did you see the first half of the last season?
No, did the second half drop now?
I don't know. I've seen that like it premiered somewhere. I don't think it's available yet, though.
I refuse to watch that until I have the whole final season.
Yeah, because you're gonna want it.
Right, and I can't stand the waiting. So, like, as much as I love Stranger Things, will not watch it when it drops this month. I will wait till July when the second half of the last season drops.
Yeah, that's nice that they're doing that so close.
I hate that they're splitting them now, Netflix. You used to give us it all one day. Boom. Every 4th of July, Stranger Things.
But you're getting more.
What do you mean?
You're getting more episodes.
Okay, I want them all at once.
I know what you're saying, but I think it's worth it, dude. You're getting some of it early even.
Yeah, but I won't watch it, which is funny. I'll wait. That's like I said with Ozark, I'm waiting and them. But Animal Kingdom, Yellowstone, I'm in front of the TV usually when they air. Snowfall, I watch it a day or two after it airs. So, like, I don't wait weekly for these shows, but I get why. And I definitely agree with you. Snowfall is a better binge show because so much happens sometimes. Like you said, a week or two later, you don't remember a fucking thing that just went on.
Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue. And none of it is wasteful.
These TV shows got to stop with this, oh, you get 3 in a row, and then all of a sudden we skip 2 weeks and then come back. It's like, why did we just have a 2-week gap? Now I don't remember what just happened.
Get your booster shots and quit fucking around.
All right, I think there we go for the first episode of our reviews. Don't worry, guys. We'll just get better at this. It was a lot of just talking about how we feel, but I'm sure we'll get better as we go.
We're working through the legal issues of reviewing hardcore pornography. We'll be back soon.
And our first one will be, how much drugs did Lucy Lawless do on Deep Throat?
Lucy Lawless?
Wasn't that her name?
That's Xena, the warrior princess.
Oh, fuck. Dude. What? Okay. So it's the new Deep Throat with Lucy Lawless.
I'd watch it. I think anybody would. She still looks good, man. She's healthy.
Fuck, I can't believe I just did that.
You did.
It's going to be her and the dude from Renegade. They're going to be the new Deep Throat.
Oh, Pockface? What about
Lorenzo Lamas?
Lorenzo Lamas or Kevin Sorbo?
Hey, Lorenzo Lamas, Kevin Sorbo, and Lucy Lawless in the new fucking Deep Throat.
Handcuffs.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.